I'm taking this.
This call is now being recorded.
So yes, session is now recorded. So this is about, we have talked about the logical operator. We have talked about the logical operators are work with the relations or a comparisons operator, right? Like for an example, it is having A greater than B and A greater than C. So if both are true, both are true, then result is true, is true, right? Which is case of AND. Okay. In case of OR, any one should be true. Okay. Anyone should be true. And here not, which is used with single operand. Okay, let's see this with the uh, examples. Like here, you can see that we have a which is like a 9, and let's have a use of multiple assignment A, B, C, and we had 9, 5, and a 4 that I have assigned. And if I want to check what A greater than B, what will be result? True. A greater than C, what will be result? Right here, A greater than B and A greater than C. What will be that? Yes. What is the meaning? If A is also greater than, B is also greater than, and result is true. If here, if I do this way, A is greater than B, right? And C is greater than A. What happened? A is greater than B, and if I want to say that C would be also bigger than, but here it will come false. Okay. Then we would check with the OR. A greater than, now I'll check with the anyone will be true. So B is greater than A, which is false. Correct? A is greater than C, which is true. We will write down as this B greater than A or A greater than C. What we want to conclude? We want to conclude that B is the greatest. We want to check it. We want to check that whether the B is greatest, check B is greatest or not. And once we fire this, right, it will result as a true, because the one is true, one is false, right? If both are wrong, like I am doing this, or like B, sorry, that is the B will be against false, let's make it this will also come false. Now, I have not, and what I do, I know that A is greater than B, and I can negate that. We have seen this here, A greater than B is true, but if I applied not, it becomes false. All right, this is what about the thing which is about the logical operator. What we have seen here is a use of logical operator. Hope it's clear. Now I will go ahead for the bitwise operator. Now Rutvik sir will take a charge. Rutvik sir, please take charge. And
Yes,
I'm closing.
Devangi madam, if you have any question, please let us know. Am I audible? Harsha sir?
Yes, we are audible.
Okay.
There is a question.
Yes, Devangi
In
madam,
a
I'll show you
same
one
mode,
example.
एक minute. Yeah, go ahead, Rutvik sir. You please share your screen.
Yeah,
In same manner, we have to write a program. Yes, yes. That way, if you want to use, yes, you can copy that in a program also. So, Rutvik sir, go ahead.
sure. I'll start the program here. Okay. So let us work with the program. Whatever sir has explained, actually, it works with our simple case, right? So we know that when we talk about AND, right? Join it with and both the statements are true. So T and T will be T, right? This is only true case. And what is T and F over here? So continuing with and, if I say E and F, any of the F condition, it is always going to return you false, right? Similar to OR, right? So OR is very simple, right? I'll say T or T is going to become T. Okay, here one case can be F and F. Obviously, F and F will be false, right? So I'll say and I'll say F and F. This will be also false, right? T and T will be T for OR case. For OR again, if I say E or F, that is true or false, right? This can be interchanged. It can be false or true or false, right? For both the cases and OR, right? For T or F, it will be obviously T, right? And in one case, it will be false. I'll be saying OR, right? And F or F, right? This will be set to false. Very simple case, right? The third operator is not. Very simple. Not true. So not T is equals to F. You know this case, right? And not again, and not F, it will be true. Right? So we'll be going through all the cases one by one with the help of an example. Right? Let us consider our Parul University example only. Generally, we keep this condition for students that if their attendance is 75 and previous semester 80 KT should not be more than 2, right? Then and then student is eligible for next semester exam, right? So I want to make this rule for student. I want to make it in a programmatic way, right? So what I'll be doing is I'll need two variables, right? So I'll be taking first variable, that is attendance, right? Okay. Now attendance will be float. So I'll be obviously typecasting it to the float because as you know, input returns what? Any answer from you people? Input returns what?
String.
String, right? So we have to convert the input into float, right? So I'm saying enter the attendance for the particular student. Right? So I'm asking attendance from the user only, right? I have to end the brackets twice. So what will happen? Input will return string and then it is converted to float. Very simple example, right? And the number, second parameter is number of ATKT, right? So again, that thing I'm asking from the user, but as that numbers of ATKT won't be a float number, right? It will be integer number. So I'm typecasting it to the integer. Total number of, very simple statement, right? Now understand this. So for now, what is our condition? Our condition up to this semester was like this. If attendance is greater than, I want to represent it as a float. So I'll say 75.0. If attendance is greater than, and I can say equal to also because we are allowing students which are having 75% attendance. So attendance greater than and equal to 75.0 joined with a condition. This two should be satisfied together. So number of ATKT, right? I want to make it lesser than 2, lesser or equal to 2, right? To understand this, I've given two conditions. Attendance should be greater than, or it must be greater than 75, and number of ATKT should be lesser or equal to 2, right? So these two conditions, if they are satisfied, then and then student is eligible for exam, right? So I can say print eligible for exams. And I can put else case as well over here, right? As we have discussed yesterday also, else is not mandatory, but here we'll require it because we want to print it not eligible for exam, right? So not eligible for exams. Right? Very simple scenario, and we can run this code. Let us take the input. So we are running it. Let me close it so it is visible to you clearly. That is my mouse. It's stuck. Just a second, I'll get rid of this. Let me rerun it. Yeah, so it is asking me that enter the attendance for the particular student. Let me say attendance is 80.43, say for example. Okay, and it is asking me that number of ATKT. Let us say number of ATKT from previous semester is 4. Now, when I enter these two values, can you tell me what will be my answer or what will be printed on the screen?
Not eligible student.
Not eligible, right? Why it is not eligible? Attendance criteria is fulfilled, but ATKT criteria is not fulfilled. And we have joined this to condition with AND. So both the conditions should be true. T and T will give you T, right? But here it is T and F. So it is going to return false. And when it is false, the block with it is not going to execute it, right? So what is going to execute it? Else part is going to get executed, right? So when I press enter, it is going to say me that not eligible for exam, right? Now, let me take it one more time. 80.43 again, but ATKT is now 1, right? When it is 1, both the conditions are satisfied. So that means we are going to say eligible for exams, right? So this is how it works. Now, one more thing I'd like to discuss is OR, right? So now as we know that we are in this pandemic situation, right? And we want to relax our criteria. Either attendance should be greater than or equal to 75, or number of ATKT should be less than 2. If any of the criteria is fulfilled, right? If attendance is 75, we are going to allow them. If ATKT is less than 2, we are going to allow them, right? So understand this. This is very simple. Okay, let me turn on my video first. A very simple scenario. Either attendance or number of ATKT should be less than or equal to 2. So if any of the condition is satisfied, it is going to give me eligible for exam. But if both the conditions are false, it is going to give me not eligible for exam. So let us see the different test cases over here. The first, I'm saying my attendance is 0.43 and number of ATKT is 1. Both the conditions are true. So true or true, it is going to return as true. So it is eligible for exam. Let us check the next case, right? Okay. Yeah. So let us check the next case. So let me say my attendance is 75.00. So this condition is satisfied because it is equal. But let us say ATKT is 5. Now either of them condition should be satisfied. So first condition is satisfied, true or false, it is going to return as true. So it is again eligible for exam, right? Let us check the next case. Right? So what is next? Let us say we are going to say attendance is not satisfied. That is 65.00 only, right? But ATKT is only 1. So second condition is true. So false or true again. It is true, eligible for exam. But if both the conditions are not satisfied, so attendance is 65.00 and number of ATKTs are 5, right? What is going to happen? We are not able to generate the hall ticket of this particular student because both the conditions are not satisfied. So false or false, it is false, right? So it is not eligible for exam. So this is how and or works, right? Now you can change the condition like this. See, this is what changes I am making over here in this program, in this particular program. So greater than or equal to 75, it is exactly reverse of this. Attendance less than or less than 75.0, and what I'm saying over here, I'm including not, right? So understand this, what is going to happen. What I'm going to say is attendance is less than 75.0, and then I'm applying negation to it, right? So it is a not, right? That means, it actually means attendance is greater than or equal to 75.0. When I say less than, opposite is not greater than only, it is greater than or equal to, right? So this is how it works. When you say not, and let me just copy paste this. Attendance, it is exactly equal to attendance greater than or equal to 75.0. Both are same, understand this, right? So less than, exactly opposite to greater than and equal to, right? So this is how you can use not also. So we have not changed our meaning of the program. Meaning is remaining same. Attendance, either attendance should be greater than or equal to 75, or number of ATKT should be less than or equal to 2. So meaning is preserved, but we have changed it with the not condition, right? Again, you can rerun it, right? And let me say attendance is 80.33. ATKT is, let us say, 5. Either satisfied, yes, eligible for exam, right? Very simple scenario. This is how you can use and, or, and not. Now, say for example, if it is given to you in combination, right? So two conditions are joined with and third condition, let us take me another variable, medical. And here I'm just taking string value, either enter yes or medical reason or no, right? So we want to consider those students who are suffering from medical cases, right? So here I want to join the condition. So what I'm doing over here, understand this. Attendance should be greater than or equal to 75, and number of ATKT less than or equal to 2. If either of them is, sorry, if both of them are correct, then the student is eligible for exam. But it might happen that student is having medical emergency, right? So I'll join it with or, understand this, or medical is equal to yes. What is going to happen? Either their attendance should be greater than 75 and number of ATKT should be less than or equal to 2, or they should have medical case, right? Then they are eligible for exam. So first this condition will be chosen, right? So if these two are true, answer will be true, and if this is true, again answer will be true. True, answer will be true. If either of them fail, right? But if one is correct, answer will be true, because they are joined with or. So if either this should be true or this should be true, answer will be true, they are eligible for exam. But if both are false, attendance is not greater than 75, ATKT is more than 2, and there is no medical emergency, then the answer will be false. Understand this. So for this particular case, when it will be true, the first condition should be true. Okay, sorry. And it will be true. So first condition should be true, and second condition should be true. Third condition can be false. So T and T or F, right? This will return you true, right? Because first condition is getting true. Okay, second case can be T and F or F. What is going to get returned over here? Can you tell me? T and F. What will be the answer? Anyone?
F.
False, obviously, right?
False.
True and false is false. False or false is false, right? So this is going to get me false. say for example, I can do it like this. If this first condition is false, second condition is also false, but medical emergency is there. This is going to give me a true, right? Here also, F and P or F, right? This is going to give me F or F. This is going to give me false, right? Or you can make it like this, F and E or E. Also going to give me true, right? So you can change the combinations likewise, right? And you can put your conditions as many as you want. There is no restriction in Python. You can join conditions with and, you can join conditions with or, right? And then you can proceed further with your examples, right? Now, this is all about conditional statement. This portion was remaining yesterday. We have considered single way if, two way if else, and multi-way if, elif, and else. I've already told you that else is not mandatory, right? With single way and multi-way if. We have seen difference between multi-way if and multiple if, right? There is a vast difference between these two, right? In multi-way, if one's condition is true, rest of the condition will be skipped. They are not going to get executed. Even the conditions won't be checked, right? But in multiple, if even the first condition is true, rest of the conditions are going to get evaluated, right? Understand this. This if conditions always return either Boolean cases, so either true or false, right? So with this case, I would like to tell you one more example that how we can work with it, right? To understand this, it is very small thing, but asked in so many interviews and so many quiz and Viva examinations. So that's why I'd like to cover it, right? We have covered this already, if you remember. If true, it is true. Understand this, right? Now tell me which statement is never going to get executed. Any answer from your side?
To the else one.
Yeah, to the else part. Yes, yes. False is not going to get executed because the condition is always set to true, right? So else part is never going to get executed. So when I run this, for any cases, right, answer will be true. Okay. Don't want to replace it. Let me make it 31. Right? It is always going to say it is true, right? And we can do it like this also. So when it is false, remember this F and T are capital. They are Boolean values, right? So if it is false, the true part is never going to get executed. So always we are going to get false. But what I want to tell you with this, there is a special case over here. So what is true and false, I want to explain it to you. So what is true and what is false with respect to Python. This will help you in loops also. Why? Because when you want to use or when you want to create infinite loops in Python, right, you will need always true value. So what is true and what is false, we are going to discuss. So obviously the Boolean value, which is known as true, it is always true. The Boolean value, which is known as false, it is always false. Now let us take, instead of this false, right, I'm just making it any number. Let us say 1, 2, 3. So what will be the answer? Can you tell me? If 1, 2, 3, whether it is a correct way of representing the condition or there will be an error over here. First, I would like to answer this question. What will be there?
Error?
Sir, it will be an error.
It will return an error. So for your surprise, this is not an error, right? Understand this. When I run this code, it is going to give me it is. Right? So when you say any number, any integer number, right? Any integer number starting from 1 to up to n, they are always true. And what is false in this case? So false is nothing. 0 is false, right? So any number from 1 to n, it can be any number, any integer number, it is true. But when you set it 0, say for example, instead of this 1 2 3, I'm making it 0, 0 is false. So what will be printed? It is false will be printed. Understand this, right? So this is not an error, and this is used so many times in looping. When you want to work with loops, when you want to make conditions always true, they use these numbers, right? So 1 2 up to any number, it is true. 0 is always false. Now this is all about positive number. What about negative numbers, right? So say for example, here I am saying -5. The positive were true. What about negative? We have seen that positive numbers, they will give you true. What about negative? Any wild guesses from your side? If I choose negative number as condition, what is going to happen? I want answer from you.
Sir, it will be true.
It will be true again, yes, right? So it doesn't matter whether it is positive or it is negative. So here I'll say plus or minus. Plus or minus any number except 0, they are always true, right? Understand this. This is very important, right? Now next case, what you have to see, what about floating point numbers? So any floating point number like 3.14 or even 0.3010, they are always true, right? 0.3010. Why I'm taking this 0.3010? I'll tell you the reason behind it. This is true. So what will be false in case of floating point number? So it should be always 0.0. It can be followed by any number of 0, but it should be 0.0, right? So 0.001, it is true, right? But if all are set to 0, they are false. Understand? It is false. So this is all about floating point number. What about string or characters, right? So any character or any string like A or apple or bat, anything, this will be always true. I can do it like this. If A, this is true. Any character, any string, right? Doesn't matter. It is always going to remain true, right? So what is false in this case? False is very simple. When the string is empty, empty means there is nothing between two quotes. Nothing means nothing, not even space. Why space is considered as character? Because it has a ASCII value of 32. When the character has ASCII value, it is not false, right? So understand this. This is empty string, not even space, right? So if I keep space over here like this, it is going to give me true. This, right? But when I remove the space, right, it is going to give me false. So this is known as empty string, right? And when it is empty, it is going to give me false. Understand this? Let us take next case, right? So there are more data structures in Python, right? So this is called as list. We'll cover it later on, but I'll just telling you that what and what is false. So when the list contains some elements, it can be any integer, float, anything, it is true. But list is empty. Empty list is represented by opening and closing square bracket. It is false. Similar to tuple. This is known as tuple data structure. We'll cover this data structure later on, so don't get confused about it. What is this? Right? This is just I'm telling you what is true, what is false. Empty tuple, it is false. Right? Even dictionary. Right? So dictionary contains key value pair. Okay, and let me have some value 1 to 3. Right, so this is known as dictionary. Empty dictionary is always false, right? So any of the data structure, when it is empty, it is false, right? Either 0 or empty data structure, it is always false. If it contains some element, some data into it, it is always true. So hope this concept is clear to you. This concept is used in so many applications, right? And this is asked in examination or quiz a lot. So if even if you are appearing for any of the examination, Python examination, like a Microsoft certified examination, this kind of questions are asked, right? They'll change this value with any of the value, and they will ask questions according to this, right? Last case, this was one more case in conditional statement. Now I'll be talking about last case in conditional statement, and then I'll hand over it to Harshal sir for looping, right? So what is last case in conditional statement? Let us discuss about. So the last case is in operator. So till now we have seen different operators like greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. The next operator is very useful because when you will work with for loop, this operator will be used. The operator is known as in operator, right? Now, as we don't know any other data structure in Python for now, we'll be working with string data structure, but this in operator is applicable to all types of collection. Collection means, say for example, string is collection of characters, list is collection of elements, tuple is collection of elements, dictionary is collection of elements, right? So it is applicable on all the connections, but right now we know string only, so we'll be working with string only, right? So let us see how it works. So let me take a string, let me call it str1, and let me call it as this is Python. This is Python. Very simple case, right? Now, let me check this. If this is my condition, and I'm looking for a particular character, let us say I. If I is in, so I'll say it like this. If I in str1. What is this? If character I is present in str1, tell me whether it is present or not. Yes, it is present. I is present 2 times, right? So if I in str1, this condition is true, print, let us say present. Right? Else, well, I'm not putting else part, right? If it is present, I just want to print it, right? So very simple. I is present, it is present, right? But let us make it Z. Z is not there in the string. So when I run it, it's going to print nothing, right? Why? Because the condition is false. And when condition is false, the statement within the block is not going to get executed, right? And we are not printing anything else. So the output screen is blank. The program is successfully executed, but there is nothing to be prompted on the screen, right? Now, this is about single character. But say, for example, I want to work with a string also, substring also. So I can check it like this. If is in str1, so this is present, right? Great. It is present, right? It gives me true, right? But let us say, if I'm talking about substring, if I make it si, then is there any si in the string, continuous si? No. Is is there in continuation. Si is there in continuation, but there is a space in between. So I cannot consider it as a continuous string, right? So let me run this. Right, there is no output because the statement is false, because in this si it is in continuation, there is a space in between, and here we have not kept any space, right? So if I keep space over here, now this will become a continuous string and it's returning me true, right? So understand this, the sequence is also important. So if I say this is present, but if I say si ht, it is not present because it is in reverse case, right? So the sequence also matters, right, for the substring, and you can check it like this, right? This can be anything. This is just a small example for string. I'm just showing you for list. Don't get confused. What is this list? I'm just giving you the example. List is collection of elements. So let us say it is collection of integer elements for now, right? So I'm saying if 1 in 1, 2, 3. So 1 is present. So it is going to tell me that it is present, right? But if I say if 10 in 1, 2, 3, it is going to give me false because it's not present, right? So understand this. This is how in operator works. Now, with in, obviously, when we have this in, we can use it like this also. If 10 not in, not is the reverse case of this, right? So not in, it is going to give me true. 10 is not present, so condition is true, right? So it is going to give me it is present. So we have changed the condition like this also, right? So this is how the conditional statement works. So let us summarize what we have seen. So we have seen single way, double way, multi-way, 3 cases, right, for conditional statement. Then we have seen how to join condition with and, or, and not, right? Then we have seen what is the use of true and false. What will be true, what will be false, what are the possible true values, what are the possible false value. And then we have seen in and not in operators, right? These are known as operators in Python. So this is the thing which we have seen in conditional statement parts in control flow structures, right? There is one more part that is remaining in control structure, and that is known as looping. Looping will be covered by Harshal sir. So if you have any doubt up to this point in conditional statement, We are open for a question answer session for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we can talk about conditional statement. Yes, please. Okay, there are so many things. Devangini madam, it is if 10 not in 1, 2, 3. So this is how it works. 10, say if I say if 10 in 1, 2, 3, so 10 is not there in 1, 2, 3, so it will be false, right? But if I say not in, so not false, so answer will be true, right? Here also, if you can see, if I remove it like this, 10 in 1, 2, 3, it is false, right? 10 is not present in this collection 1, 2, 3, right? So if I run it, it is not going to give print anything, right? But if I say 10 not in, right? When it is not in, it is not there. So condition is false, right? But we have applied not before it. So not false answer is going to get.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. Anything else? Okay, fine. So I'll hand it over to Harshal sir. Harshal sir is there. I think Harshal sir is not there. Okay, fine, not an issue, right? So now we'll start with the looping statements, right? How loops work, right? And we are going to discuss about loops. Okay. So any doubt with respect to conditional statement? Okay, there are no doubts. Okay, fine. Okay, so let us work with looping statements, right? Let us move to the looping statements. Fine enough. Okay, so we are moving to loops, right? So that is another part of control structure. So we have seen control structures, right? What we are going to discuss is control structure. In control structure, we have already, we have already discussed about conditional statements, right? The second type of control structure which can alter the flow of execution, they are known as looping statements. So when you want to repeat your execution, when you want to execute some statements repeatedly, we use looping statements, right? So this is how we are going to use it. There are two types of looping statements. When I teach it to student, I call it as definite, and I called it as not infinite, I call it as indefinite. I'll tell you what is this definite and indefinite. Don't worry about it. Right? So definite statements, they are created using while statement, right? But indefinite statement, they are created using for. Oh, sorry, this is in reverse. Definite is created with for, and indefinite is created with for. So what is this definite and indefinite? Why do I define? I call it like this, right? So when I use for, I know that how many times the loop is going to get executed, right? So I know the terminating condition over here. So say for example, if I say for in C programming, we say I is 0 and I less than 10. So it is going to get executed 10 times. So I know very well that it is going to get executed 10 times. It is fixed. The number of times the statements are going to get executed with for loop, it is very fixed, right? But when I call it indefinite, when I use while loop, I have to meet with terminating condition. So whether loop will continue or it will terminate, it is based on terminating condition, right? We call it as terminating condition. So whether the loop will terminate or not, it is based on this terminating condition there. And it might happen that terminating condition is met at first step, or terminating condition is met after 10 steps, or it is met after 100 steps. So we cannot clearly define that. In certain cases with while loop, we cannot clearly define that what will be the terminating condition. It might happen that terminating condition is based on user input, right? So when it is based on user input, we cannot define that how many times the loop is going to get run. Are you getting it? So this is how we can work with it. Okay, let us try to understand one simple example that how loops work. and then I'll show you that how you can change it, right? So with loop, we are going to study this for and while. We are going to understand.
Here,
Yes, yes,
here
please.
just to remember, I used to do some funny thing. Like
Okay.
while का मतलब मैं क्या कहता हूँ, जब तक है जान, मतलब जो कंडीशन ट्रू रही, मतलब जब तक है जान. और
Okay.
फॉर में क्या, शुरू शुरू से अंत तक, मतलब हम जब फॉर में आपको बताएंगे शुरू करते हैं बिगिनिंग टू एंड, तो बस शुरू से अंत तक फॉर के लिए ये स्लोगन याद रखता हूँ, और वाइल में जब तक है जान. ठीक है, ये टर्मिनोलॉजी में यूज करता हूँ. तो जस्ट आई वाज शेयरिंग दैट. थैंक यू. ऋतिक सर कंटिन्यू.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Yeah. So the next statements which we have is break and continue, right? So how this break and continue will work, we'll understand this with very good example, right? I like that example a lot. That many of the students get confused with it. So I don't know about participants which are present over here, right? But we are going to continue with it, right? So break and continue statements are there. Now I'll tell you one special case in Python, right? This is very important, understand. So we'll understand for loop, we'll understand while loop, we are going to understand break statement, we are going to understand continue statement. And this is something new in Python and you will like it very much. So we call it as while and else. So we can join else with loop, while loop, right? So this is something new in Python, while and else. And we also have for and else. What is this? We are going to discuss it about, right? So you can have while else as well as you can have for else. So 6 things which we are going to consider in looping statements, right? So let us start with very simple case. Let us start with while, right? So I'm saying num1 is equal to integer into the bracket input, and I'll be saying enter the value for num1. Very simple example, and I want to print all the values up to this number, right? Including or not including, that we can change it based on the decision, right? We want to make. So I'll say while. So this is keyword in Python. So this is how it is followed: keyword, while keyword followed by a condition, right? So what is that condition? What is that condition? So I say num1, I want to print up to that number. So how I can do that? Anyone, please? I want to print up to that number. Say num1 is 10, so I want to print up to 10. So I'll do that. I want to print up to 10. How I'll do that? Hello? Am I
Kalpana
audible?
madam says num1 less than or equal to 10.
Num1 less than or equal to 10. Sure?
Already num1 is 10, madam. So why should you write? Mridul Mishra is also saying Mridul Mishra was saying that num1 less than or equal to 10. But when num1 is 10,
Num1 is already 10.
already 10. So this will, Mridul, here we are asking something different actually.
Less than or equal to 20.
Less
Less
than
than
or
or
equal
equal
to
to
20.
20.
Another variable is to be initialized. Number,
Yes.
okay, num1, Anil sir is saying that num1 is less than or equal to num1 minus 1. Mridul Mishra says another variable is needed to initialize to
Yes.
1.
Yes. Rudul is
That can be,
correct.
then can be
Yes.
done, and also you can do that. You can have a num1 which is, you can have a num1 which is a terminating condition. So yes, we take it out the one another variable and we can do it. So that
Yes.
we
So
need to do. Yes, obviously.
what will require over here is, will require another number. Let us say count. Count is initialized to 0, right? Or it can be initialized to 1. And what should be our condition, right? What should be our condition? Count, and count is less than or equal to number. Yes or no? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Count will take these different values, and when it is more than 10, this condition will be false, right? To understand this, this is how it works. You have to take two variables. count less than or equal to 1, what I'm going to do? Print count. Very simple scenario. That's all.
Mridul sir is saying that
Yeah.
in loop increment count, but Mridul sir,
Yes.
please, is it to be initialized in a loop? If you are asking, are you asking the same thing? Like, is it to be initialized, count initialized in a loop? In a loop body? No. So then okay, no problem. That can be called as a loop increment count. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Okay. We don't have to initialize count over here. Once you initialize count over here, if I make it 0, say for example, if I make count 0 over here, every time when the loop is going to get executed, the repeated statements are going to get executed, count is going to set 0 every time, right? Then we'll not reach to our terminating condition. That's what I'm going to explain it over here, right? If I run this particular code, what is going to happen? Tell me. This particular code, whatever is missing is missing. If I'm going to run this code, what is going to happen? Let us say value of num1 is 10. Any answer from your side?
Yes, it is the answer is received, sir. It is saying that 0 will be printed infinite times. Absolutely right.
Yes. Yes, that is the answer. What is going to happen? 0 will be printed infinite times.
Because
What
we
is-
are not changing the count. That's why.
So we have to change the count. Let us say we are changing the count by 1. So Harshal sir has discussed about this operator in last
Assignment
lecture.
operator.
Yes, AO operator plus equal to sign, and we are going to say it 1. So count is equal to count 1 plus 1. This means E count is count plus 1. Right? Understand this. This is very simple example of count, right? Now, this is actually the technical name of this operator. They are known as shorthand operators, right? Because this is shorter representation of this increment operation, right? So they are known as shorthand operators. And we are going to say count is equal to count plus 1. So once count will reach to 11, the condition is going to false. This is how it works. Count is 0. Condition will be checked. Say, for example, user is entering 10. So 0 is less than or equal to 10. Condition is true. So print count. So print 0. 0 will be printed. Count is incremented by 1. So value of count is 1 now. 1 less than 10. Condition is true. Print 1. 2 less than 10. 3 less than 10. 10 less than 10. False. But 10 equals to 10. It is true. So it is going to print the values up to 10. Then again count will be incremented by 1. 11 than 10 or 11 equal to 10. Both the conditions are false. So loop is going to end. So if I run this
Level like. Hello, there was a question from Chandni, and Chandni is asking that you categorize these things into the three control structures into 3 levels or 3 types, basically 3 types: single,
Okay.
multiple, or multi-level. When you give this introduction, that time we have discussed. Okay, right? So for conditional control structure only, is it, or it is for looping also? I think
No,
this
no.
is the question of Chandni.
Yeah, it
Right.
was for conditional statements only. So conditional
And conditional
statement.
statements are only if, else, and if, elif.
Yeah.
Right.
So
This is different.
for that, see, I'm again making it clear to you. For conditional statement, we have single way. Let me call it as 1.2. We have double way or 2-way. Rather than saying a double way, I'll call it as 2-way. And I'll have 1.3, that is multi-way. And in single way, again, we can have 1.1.1, right? And we will call it as multiple, right? And here also, we can have 1.2.1, call it as multiple. And I have told you the difference between multi-way and multiple, right? And then we have looping statements, right? And looping statement can have it's 2.1 definite, 2.2 indefinite, right? And you can have over here, we'll call it as 2.2.1, which will be while else. And let me just copy paste over here so that it is very much clear to you. Hash 2.1.1, and this is going to become for else, and break and continue, they are applicable to all the cases. So I'll say Control C will be, I can copy paste over here and I can copy paste for
Understand this, break, continue, and third one is also pass. Sir, please add the hashtag hash pass. So these three are what? Loop control. Loop control. If you want to control the loop, these three operators which we have that help us to control the loop. Okay, so we can label this as a loop control statements. These three things are, these three break, continue, and pass are loop control statements.
They are part of for as well as while, right?
So
We'll discuss about
we write it common and make it that way, like loop control statement. Basically, they are loop control. For and else are, for and while are looping statement, and these three are loop controlling statements. I hope now all participants would have clear in understanding.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you. So I forgot pass. Thank you also, sir, for reminding this pass, right? This is very much useful in so many cases, right? So pass is also useful, right? And this is our simple example, and this is going to get, this is going to print 0 to 10, right? Let us run it, and I'm going to enter 10, and it is going to print 0 to 10. You can keep any random value, let us say 100, and it is going to get printed that 0 to 100, right? Now, if I remove this equal to, right, and again if I enter 10, what will be the output? Just for curiosity, what will be the output? If I remove equal to and if I'm going to enter 10, what's the output? Hello?
0 to 9.
0 to 9. Okay, fine. Nice answer, right? As 10 is not equal to 10, right? The condition is removed from the conditional statement. It is going to get print 0 to 9. Now, as I'm telling you what is true and what is false, this is very much applicable over here, right? See this. If I make it while true, and then if I'm saying print count, there is no terminating condition over here. Understand this, right? So this loop is going to run infinite times, right? So I can make it while true, or I can make it while 1 also, because any number will be true except 0, right? If I run this, understand this, enter the value, let me enter any random value, right? It is running. You see this, it is running, right? And how many times it will run? So there is no stopping condition. It is going to run infinite times. Yes or no? So after some times, this is going to give me an error, right? And it says that maximum iteration has been reached, maximum recursion level has been reached, or maximum. So there is an error. There will be an error over here, right? But if I want to stop this in between, how you can stop this, right? Sometimes it happens that we have accidentally typed certain condition which will run infinite times, and we want to stop it. So to stop this kind of thing, we are going to press Control and C together. When you press Control and C together, this is known as keyboard interrupt in Python, right? So when I press Control and C together, if you can see, it is giving me keyboard interrupt, right? And we have produced keyboard interrupt over here to stop our program, right? So this is how you can stop our program, your Python program, if it is running for infinite times, right? So this is very simple example of while loop. Let me come back to the condition also. Num1 is less than, sorry, count is less than number. Count is less than number, right? Now understand this, how it works, how it is known as control structure. As we have discussed this in as we have discussed this in if statements also, conditional statements also, we have to discuss it over here. Why these are known as control structure, right? These are the statement numbers which I'm giving to this, right? And this will be statement number 5. Number 5 is this, right? Okay. So there are 5 statements in my program, and why this is control structure, let us understand about it. What is the by default flow of execution in Python? Can anybody tell me? We have discussed this yesterday also. What is the by default flow of execution in Python? Anyone, please? By default flow of execution. Am I audible? Is there any answer in the chat box? Yeah, what is the default flow of execution? Anyone?
Answer is said
Answer.
here as statement is encountered serially, and
Yes. Yes. So it is by default flow. We have discussed this yesterday also. Answer is very much simple. It is sequential flow, right? We have discussed this about yesterday also, right? The by default flow of execution is sequential flow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be executed in sequence. Now, how we are altering flow over here? Understand this. So statement number 1 is going to get executed. Very much fine. Statement number 2, it is input statement. So this is going to get executed. Now, what about statement number 3? So it is condition checking statement. First time it is going to get executed. So 3 is going to get executed one time. If condition is true, then statement number 4 and 5 is going to get executed. If condition is false, I'll be talking about true part over here. If condition is false, so statement number 1 will be executed, 2 will be executed, and third one will be executed for condition checking. So third is executed, but if it is false, 4 and 5 won't be executed single time. Right? So if condition is false, only statement number 1, 2, and 3 is going to get executed. Now, what about the statement number 3, 4, and 5? If the condition is true, how many times this is going to get executed, right? So it depends on the input user. So if someone says that num1 is 10, we know that this is going to get executed. 4 and 5 is going to get executed times. Going to get executed 10 times. Can you tell me how many times third statement is going to get executed? Anyone, please. 4 and 5 is going to get executed 10 times if num1 is 10. Num1 is 10, how many times third statement is going to get executed? Answer from you. 10 times, okay. Anyone else? Anyone else would like to try? Okay, so answer is not 10 actually, right? Answer is 11. Why it is 11? One more time condition is going to get checked, right? And then condition will be false. Understand this. And when condition is false, it is not going to get into the block, right? So understand this. This is going to get executed. The third statement is going to get executed 11 times if user enters num1 equals to 10, right? So understand this. What is the syntax of creating a while loop? While condition colon, as you know, colon indicates start of new block. So we are going to say, or we are going to keep indentation, right? If you keep the same indentation, they are in the same block. And now I want to come out from the block. How I'll come out from the block? I'll say blast off. Blast off is nothing but to terminate the looping statement, looping block, right? So irrespective of the condition statement or irrespective of loop, blast off is always going to get printed, right? So enter the value of num1, let us say 10, right? And prints blast off also, right? So why blast off is printed? It is nothing but to tell you that this is the end of the block, while loop block, right? So this is how block, and this is very simple example of while loop, right? Now let us understand one example with while loop in which we are going to work with break and continue as well, right? So let us understand that. Okay, so let me tell you one simple solution. Let me just tell you the problem definition, what the problem definition is, and then we are going to make the program, right? The problem definition is something like this. User is going to enter any string. What user is going to enter? User is going to enter any string, right? Now, if this string is done, it's done. It can be any done, right? So done can be represented in different ways, like it can be represented in small cases or capital done. You can consider many more, but we'll keep it restrict it to 4 cases. Done. Oh, not like this. Done. Like this. Or we can make it like this also. Right, we'll keep it like this. So if string is done, you have to print we are done and terminate the program, right? Second condition, if string is hash, what is my string? It is hash. Generally we know that hash is comment in Python. So I'm just keeping for hash right now, then we'll later on change it. So if my string is hash, don't print the string. Don't print hash. Don't print the string, right? And ask for the new string. So user has to enter new string. If hash is entered, you don't have to print the string. You will ask for new string. And next case, string is any other string except done and hash. So string is any other string like hello or world or apple or banana. Any other string except done and hash, print the string. So for hash, you don't have to print it and you have to ask for the new string, right? And if it is any other string except done and hash, you have to print the string and ask for the new string. Let us solve it with loop, right? Let us understand that how this will work with loop. Okay, we'll use both the cases over here. Will require while loop as well as will require if conditions also, right? So that's why I've taken this example so that your concepts will be clear pretty much, and then we'll terminate to we'll conclude today, right? We'll start with for loops and everything tomorrow. Okay, so let us understand that how this program will work. So I'm starting with while loop. As you know that I have to repeatedly ask for the string, except the first case, case number 1, I have to repeatedly ask for the string. But before we proceed, I would like to ask you that is there any doubt in question statement, problem statement? क्वेश्चन में कुछ डाउट है तो बताइए. मैं एक सिंपल से वर्ड में समझा रहा हूं कि अगर कोई यूजर डन एंटर करता है तो आपको डन प्रिंट करके वी आर डन प्रिंट करके प्रोग्राम को टर्मिनेट करना है. अगर यूजर हैज एंटर करता है तो आपको क्या करना है, कुछ भी प्रिंट नहीं करवाना है और आपको यूजर से फिर से एक बार स्ट्रिंग एंटर करने के लिए बोलना है. सो व्हेन इट इज रिपीटेड विल रिक्वायर लूप, है ना, हमें क्या करना है, फिर से पूछना है यूजर से. सो विल रिक्वायर लूप, राइट? And user is entering any string except done and hash, you have to print the string and again you have to ask for the input, right? So you have to do the task repeatedly. You have to ask for the input repeatedly. And when you want to do the things repeatedly, you will require loop, right? Now, what will be the terminating condition over here? So we cannot decide terminating condition. Terminating condition is very simple. We can say that if the string is done, you have to stop, right? So let us take input over here. Before this, str1, let me call it as str1, right? And I'll take the input, right? Enter the string. Very simple solution, right? And here you can check if str1 is equal to done. Now, as I told you, I have given you 4 cases, 4 different cases. So you can join it with or I can say str1 is equal to capital or str one is equal to done, or str1 is equal to 3, 4.
Here is the Chandni Shah is asking in place of while, it's if, right? In place of while, it is if, right? No, things are different actually. Here we want a repetitively ask. So I think, do you want to, Chandni, do you want to ask same thing that you want to repeat or you don't want to repeat? See,
So if I put, yeah,
by if we can get it out with this statement if we write if. But what if we want to repeat only execute for all continuous input? So for the simple explanation, this will work with the if. But अगर आपको रिपीटेडली करना है, कंटिन्यूअस आदमी डालता जाता है, इनपुट डालता जाता है और आपको जब डन डालता है तभी आपको बाहर निकलना है, इस टाइप का अगर करना है तब क्या हो जाएगा, वी विल हैव एंटर इनसाइड एंड व्हाइल जनरली वी विल मेक कंप्लीटली ट्रू. व्हाइल तो हमेशा ऑन ही रहेगा, ठीक है, तो व्हाइल तो चलता ही जाएगा. अभी व्हाइल चलता ही जाएगा परमानेंटली तो इनफाइनाइट हो जाएगा. तो कब आपको बंद करना है, बंद कब करना है, टर्मिनेट कब करना है, जब डन मिल जाता है. तो डन मिलने पे सर करेंगे यूज ऑफ ब्रेक स्टेटमेंट, और ब्रेक स्टेटमेंट से वहां पे डन मिलेगा तो सर उसको ब्रेक करवा देंगे, तो तब जाके वो बाहर आ जाएगा. ठीक है सर. और हैश में क्या करेंगे, वो वापस पूछना है, तो हैश मिलेगा तो सर उसको वापस ऊपर चले जाएंगे और वापस लेने के लिए बोलते जाएंगे. तो इस तरीके से सर एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं. ठीक है.
Yes.
Sir, continue please. This was a little confusion was there, so I interrupted. Please continue.
Yes. So this is how you can put the condition, right? So here what you have to do over here is you have to combine the things, right? You have to combine the things. When I say str1 is equal to done, or str1 is equal to capital D done, then and then our loop is going to get executed. We don't want that. Read the problem statement clearly, right? If done, we want to terminate it. We don't want to continue it, right? So this condition is correct, but we are not going to use it with while. Understand this, right? So what we are going to do over here, it's very simple, right? We are going to separate it, and our condition, what I'm making it over here, I'm making it true. So I'm telling to you that even if whatever the condition is, in all the cases, execute the loop. Now, how the loop will be executed? It will be executed infinite times, obviously. So somehow I have to enter terminating condition. So I'm putting this condition. If my str1 is any of the case, what I have to print? I have to print we are done, right? And once you print we are done, I have to terminate the program. Why I have to terminate the program? Because the loop is running infinite times. Yes or no? So if it is running infinite times, we have to stop it somewhere. So when we are stopping it, when user enters done, we are stopping it. So we can do it with a break statement. So what is this? Understand this. This is very simple thing. With while true, you are putting accelerator on for your vehicle. It is continuous and continuous accelerator, right? With break statement, you are putting a brake on your car, right? So this is while true is running continuously with break statement.
Yes. Fatima had a comment. We had forgot the one case where all letters are in uppercase. Done. So we need to add that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And it is repeatedly done, written 2 times. Yeah. Thank you for having attentive comment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, so this is one case. Fine. Now what is next?
Again, for repeatedly taking input, we need to take this str also inside str1.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that later on. That is the question that I want to ask to the participants. Yeah. So now next thing is str1 is what? If it is hash, then what I have to do? So if it is hash, we don't have to do anything. Understand this. Don't print the string. ask for the new string, right? So from where we'll take the new string? Understand this. As Harshal said, what we have done over here, we have taken our input outside the loop. When it is outside the loop, it is going to get executed only one time, right? And here, what do we want? Here we want our input repeated times, right? So it's very simple. What we have to do is I just take it from this particular location and I'll keep it in the loop, right? When it is in the loop, it is going to get executed infinite times, right? So if str1 is equal to hash, right? What I have to do? I have to say continue. Now what is continue? Understand this. So let me go to classroom screen again. Right, I'll tell you that how these two things work differently. Right. Harshal sir, my screen is visible. Harshal sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
it is visible. It is.
Yeah. So we will be working with the classroom screen, and I'll tell you that how continue and how this will work. It's taking time. Okay. Let me work with not. Right. So hope Notepad is visible to you. What we are going to do is, say for example, we have written while statements like this. Let me take the time. We have written while statements like this, right? And somewhere over here, we are taking a break. Let me call it as B. Let me call it as B. So what B will do, B will take your execution outside the loop. Even if some statements are there over here in while loop, it will move outside the loop, right? Say for example, if you are writing a loop over here, right? Right, and there is C in between. C is what? Continue. So what continue will do? Continue won't take your execution outside the loop. It will restart the execution of loop. So it will check the condition again and it will start. Even if some statements are there in the loop, it will be skipped. It is moving to the beginning point of the loop and it will check the condition again. So understand this. What break will do? Break will terminate the condition and it will move out from the loop. What continue will do? Continue will move upwards, right? And it will check the condition one more time. Are you getting it? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So here also, when I write break, I'll tell you it will move to the blast off. I'll write blast off at the last, and when I write continue, it will move to the condition checking again, right? And once the condition is checked, we know that condition is always true, right? So the loop is going to get executed and it will again ask for the input, right? So this is asking for the input infinite times. Understand this, right? And we are not printing anything over here, right? Now, say for example, it is not done, it is not hash, it is any other string. So except done and hash, if something is entered, what I have to do? I have to print the string, right? I'm saying print str1. But understand this, except done and hash, what we have to do? Print the string and ask for the string again one more time. So when I'm taking input one more time, I have to go to the beginning of the loop one more time. So what I'll do? I'll put continue over here again one more time. Yes or no? So in hash, we are not printing anything. We'll directly move to the beginning loop. With any other string except done and hash, we are printing the string. And again, we are moving up, right? So again, it will ask for the input, right? So these are the three different cases. And at last, once the program terminates, because I want to know that when user enter hash, whether the program has terminated or not, right? So I'll say blast off. Blast off is nothing but it is end of the program, right? It is the last statement which is going to get printed, right? Now understand this, how this will work. If user enters done, we are going to print we are done, and the break statement will be executed. So what is break? Break will come out from the loop. So loop is ending to this last continue statement. यहाँ पे loop end हो रहा है. So loop end होने के बाद वो execution start करेगा. So next statement is what? Blast off. So blast off print होगा. So if user enters done, directly we are done and blast off will be printed. If user enters hash, Again, enter the string will be prompted, and you have to enter the string. If user enter any other string will be printed, and again it will ask for the input, right? So let us run this code. Understand this. Let us say I'm entering hello. So hello is not done, hello is not hash, right? So string should be printed and it should ask for the next input, right? Yes. So hello is printed and it is asking me for the next input. Let me say I is printed. Let me say Parul. Parul is printed. Let me say computer. It's printed. Python. Again printed. So any other string, you enter any string and it will be printed. Even 1 to 3, this will be printed, right? But let us say I'm entering hash. When you are entering hash, hash should not be printed. Understand this. Hash should not be printed and it should ask you for the next input, right? See this. Nothing is printed and it is asking me for the next input, right? But say for example, if I say double hash, then what is going to happen? Tell me. Double hash.
It will be considered as a comment.
Double hash will be considered as comment. Any other answer?
blast of statement execute होगा.
Blast of execute होगा नहीं. Comment भी नहीं होगा. See, I'm entering double hash. Double hash is getting printed. Now I'll tell you the reason behind it. What we have done over here, see this. If str1 is equal to hash, अगर वो सिंगल हैश है तो ही मैच होगा और फिर से इनपुट में जाएगा कुछ प्रिंट किए बिना. अगर डबल हैश है, so this condition will be false. Understand this. This condition will be false. So it will move to the else part. It will print double hash and then it will ask for the input. समझ में आ रहा है? सिंगल हैश और डबल हैश दोनों डिफरेंट स्ट्रिंग है. When they are not equal, as we know, we are going to get executed else part. So 2 बार हैश, 3 बार हैश, 4 बार हैश करोगे तो भी क्या होगा, वो प्रिंट होके फिर इनपुट के लिए पूछेगा. सिंगल टाइम हैश के लिए ही वो बिना प्रिंट किए इनपुट के लिए पूछेगा, राइट? सो वी वांट टू improve this program and we'll discuss this when we'll study string data structure later on, but you can call it like this: string 1 of 0. 0 means first letter of the string. If first letter of the string is hash, आप कमेंट में देखो फर्स्ट लेटर क्या है, हैश है. कमेंट में देखो फर्स्ट लेटर क्या है, हैश है. So when first letter of the string is hash, we are not going to print it and we are going to continue for the input, right? So अब कितने भी हैश डालो, doesn't matter, right? So we are going to rerun this program. ये पूरे run का output.
And it will never become a comment. If you have a after hash anything something, will never become a comment. Huh?
We are running this. We are executing this in a program. So when we are executing it in a program, it is not comment. Understand?
And because it is assigned as a string, so it will be entire hash and all this will be in under the double quote. So that will be under the single quotes. So that will not make outside anything as a hash, like a comment, right?
So when I enter 4 hash over here, now see this, right? It is asking me for the string. So understand this. When I entered 2 hash over here, earlier it was printed, but now in this new program, it is not getting printed. Again, you can test it. Parul will be printed. Hello will be printed. Apple will be printed. So it is running continuously. Now I want to terminate it, right? यहाँ पे terminate नहीं हुआ था, मैंने rerun किया इसलिए automatic terminate हुआ. But I want to terminate the program and I want to get blast off at the end, right? So for that case, what I have to enter? I have to enter done, right? So it says we are done. It says blast off, and then you can see program has terminated. That's why we are getting this Python prompt. Are you getting it? So this is how it works. And understand this, we have joined this with OR. So for any of the done, this is going to end the program. Understand this, है ना? और कंडीशन है, so चारों में से कोई भी एक कंडीशन ट्रू होगी, the program is going to get terminated, right? अच्छा, अब लास्ट केस, हम थोड़ा लेट जा रहे हैं, बट लास्ट केस है, इस प्रोग्राम को इम्प्रूव कैसे किया जा सकता है? कोई मुझे बता सकता है? How we can improve this program? Because here more number of statements are getting executed. ये प्रोग्राम ऑप्टिमाइज्ड प्रोग्राम नहीं है, so इसको इम्प्रूव कैसे किया जा सकता है? Anyone, please. I'm waiting your answers. I'm waiting for your answers in the comment box, please. How we can improve this program? Alif statement, great. Shushil Gangwati, great answer, right? How we can improve it? As we know that we have two if statement, right? And these are either conditions, right? So we can replace it with else. Nice, right? So if it is not done, look for hash, and if it is not hash, look for else case, right? तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा, अगर पहला कंडीशन ट्रू हो गया, बाकी का सब क्या हो जाएगा, स्किप हो जाएगा. वैसे भी स्किप हो रहा है, क्यों स्किप हो रहा है समझो. यहाँ पे कंटिन्यू लिखोगे तो लूप तो फिर से एग्जीक्यूट होने वाला है, ब्रेक लिखोगे तो लूप से बाहर निकल रहा है, तो पीछे के केसेस एग्जीक्यूट हो रहे हैं. स्टिल इट इज अ बेटर वे टू रिप्रेजेंट योर कंडीशन. समझ में आ रहा है, राइट? द स्टेटमेंट्स आर गोइंग टू गेट एग्जीक्यूटेड ओनली वंस, राइट? बट स्टिल इट इज अ बेटर वे टू रिप्रेजेंट conditions, three different conditions like this, right? So this is the end of while loop, right? This is how you can work with while loop. Here this whole block is executed multiple times depending on the condition, right? So that's why the statements are repeatedly executed, and that's why we call it as looping statements. Understand? That's why
Here, Mridul sir, you are saying about lower function, and Devyangini madam, which you are saying about the 4-time hash, why it is not printed? Because it has, we had make it out the first character. We have changed the methodology of checking that, and we consider string is an array of a character. So which we have seen str1 bracket 0, that means first character, and that is
let me Arshal sir, let me explain with example. Arshal sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Devani madam, please see this. I am saying that str1 is equal to hello, right? Now what is str1 of 0? str1 of 0 is nothing but it is h. ठीक है, तो हमने पहले क्या लिखा था कि str1 is equal to hash. Okay, let me change the str1 first. str1 is equal to hash, right? And if I say str1 is equal to hash, the answer is going to get true, right? Hash equals to hash. Obviously, it is true, right? But if I'm changing it like this, str1 is equal to 2 times hash or 3 times or 4 times hash, right? And if I say it like this,
Sir, she got it. Sir, she got it. And now the Mridul sir's question. Mridul sir, can you explain about your question?
Yeah,
What is
sir, I
loop
got it, sir. I got it.
Okay.
Rudu sir is saying that there is a function on string, and we can call it like this: str1.lower.
Okay.
And
We have no problem. We have not covered the strings
Yeah.
in detail right now, so we have not taken up this. We could do this in an alternate way to take up
Yeah,
this.
so this
Sir
is,
has highlighted.
Rudul sir is saying this: there is a function which will convert your string into lowercase. You don't need to put all these conditions like this. This will work, right? Because the uppercase characters will be converted into lowercase character. But Rudul sir, as we have not covered string functions right now, we are not taking that case into the consideration. Thank you for suggestion, Rudul sir. Right? So this was the case, right? Let me remove this part. This is not very much part. And this is your while loop, right? And understand this, as I have told you in the beginning, understand this. While loops are known as which kind of loop? Indefinite loops. Why it is indefinite loops? We know that how many times this particular while loop is going to get executed. पहले ही केस में यूजर ने हैश एंटर कर दिया तो एक बार एग्जीक्यूट होगा. यूजर 1000 एंट्रीज के बाद भी डन एंटर नहीं कर रहा है, 1000 टाइम्स एग्जीक्यूट होगा, 10 टाइम्स एग्जीक्यूट हो सकता है, 20 टाइम्स हो सकता है, डिपेंड्स ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर फंक्शन. यूजर जो एंटर करेगा उसके हिसाब से टर्मिनेटिंग कंडीशन चूज हो रहा है. समझ में आ रहा है? So that's why they are known as indefinite. We cannot define that how many times this loop is going to get executed, right? But with for loop, we are going to see that tomorrow. We can say that for loop is going to get executed 10 times or 20 times or 1000 times or 2000 times, right? It is pretty much clear. Hope you have got the idea about while loops, right? You have got the idea about break, continue, and one more statement is remaining that we'll discuss.
Take it tomorrow. We'll take it tomorrow.
We'll take it tomorrow.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And we had completed about the if else, that is conditional statement and loop statement, just half of the loop statement and loop control statement in depth and a detail. So thank you everyone. We are now signing off today.
Okay, tomorrow's quiz is deadline is Monday. Sorry, Sunday. कल के क्विज का डेडलाइन आज मैंने पोस्ट किया और उसका डेडलाइन संडे है. Okay, thank you.
Thank you everyone.